What's up, Pre-PT Nation? It's Dr. Sean, the physical therapy application coach, where Pre-PT equals DPT. I am so excited to be able to share with you guys that I have another live webinar coming up on March 5th, which is a Saturday, at 10 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And I'm also excited to be able to share with you guys what content we're going to be covering in this webinar. This is going to be all for my applicants who are getting ready to apply this upcoming cycle. How can you get yourself organized? How can you get yourself prepared? And some of the most important things about how can you avoid comparing yourself with other applicants and just run your own race and be able to know that you're doing what's necessary to help you be successful. That's what's going to be covered in this webinar. So guys, if you don't want to miss out on future content, future videos, different things like that, make sure to like, subscribe, follow my channel. Make sure you click the notification bell so that way you're notified when I post new content. And I'm also going to share with you in this video kind of a brief synopsis or overview or what we'll go over in the webinar itself. There's going to be more content than this, but it's going to be a quick snapshot of some content, kind of looking at, hey, I'm applying to PT school within at least the next 6 months. What things do I need to do to get ready? Right? The application opens up at the end of June or beginning of July. The date kind of fluctuates. But if you haven't already, go ahead and sign up for my webinar by clicking the link in the description down below or in my bio. And you can be able to get your spot reserved so you can show up to this webinar and be able to get a personalized plan started and learn about some awesome coaching opportunities that you can get with myself and my assistant coach, Kyle, to help you be able to have focus, accountability, direction, so you can be successful as a pre-PT as you get ready to apply this upcoming cycle. Guys, we had tremendous success this last year. Every year, we grow leaps and bounds with the number of programs applicants get into, the different types of programs, new programs, kind of the blue blood programs where applicants, everyone knows these schools. And it's exciting to see that the physical therapy application coach method and structure is successful across the country, across the different competition levels to help people get into physical therapy school. Whether it's consultation, helping you with your essays, or interview preparation, we got your back. So go ahead, click on the link down below or look at my bio for the link to sign up to register for this free webinar that'll be held on Saturday, March 5th at 10 a.m. You guys aren't going to want to miss this. And if you got plans or you've got something going on, it's okay. Register. A recording of the webinar will be sent out to you. Thanks, guys, and enjoy the snapshot video. That'll give you kind of an overview of what we're going to go over in the webinar. Thanks. With that intro in mind, if you're applying within the next 6 months, let's talk about what we're going to share with you in this webinar. Okay? I'm going to give you a quick, brief overview. So I already told you the information about the webinar, Saturday, March 5th, 10 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. I'm going to be going into a lot more detail about the things in this video that I'm going to share with you today in the webinar. And the link to sign up for the free webinar is either in the description box down below or in my bio if you're viewing this on Instagram. I'm also going to be sharing an exclusive coaching offer that you're not going to want to miss out on. Guys, we are proud to say that our statistics for qualified applicants who work with us, their first-time acceptance is a 90%, right? And that number continues to improve. I got to rework the numbers from this last cycle and get some new calculations. But if anything, I know it's improved to maybe a 92%, right? So we're seeing success across the country. So you guys won't want to miss out on the webinar, and you definitely aren't going to want to miss out on the exclusive coaching offer that I'm going to share with you guys. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about this. School list. So I used to not recommend the applicants start researching schools until right before they applied. This is so backwards, okay? The sooner you identify the programs that you want to apply to, the easier it is for you to tailor your application to that program and to make sure that you're checking all your boxes. A lot of times applicants don't finalize the schools they're actually going to apply to until like right before they push submit. And then they find out, oh shoot, I didn't take a prereq for this class, for this school. I can't go there, right? So your homework is to identify 10 to 15 schools that you're interested in applying to. Those of you who followed my channel or my email list, which you can also find a link for that in the description box down below or in my bio, and you can join my free email list. you know that in general, things that you want to look for, you can start with the location of the program, the MPTE first time pass rate of greater than 90%. That's the national licensure examination. It's the entire reason you go to PT school. You want to have as close to 100% as you can, because that means you're very likely to pass the licensure and start working. You want to have a low cost of tuition and a low cost of living, because, guys, for right now, student loan debt isn't going anywhere. Okay, that may change in the future, but I don't want to bank my future on bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. deciding what my financial future is going to look like, right? So, in general, try to minimize your debt as much as you can and go to a program that's going to almost guarantee that you're going to pass the licensure. So, you have those 10 to 15 different schools, but ultimately, you're going to narrow your list down to 6 to 8 programs. Make sure that you have all the prereqs accounted for, included in prereq courses, their recommended GRE scores, observation hours, things like that. Or maybe this program doesn't require the GRE. That's a good thing to know, so that way you don't send your scores there if they don't require you to take it. And then contact the school with any questions that you may have about their program. So this is where you need to start. Start looking at programs now, so that way when it actually comes time to apply in June, end of June, July, August, September, October, whenever you're going to start really getting into your application, then you need to make sure you have those questions answered so you can be successful. So now that we've helped you start to figure out the schools that you want to apply to, you can also go and start looking at your numbers. So GPA, GRE, observation hours, and your references or your letters of recommendation are the number one things that I recommend that you focus on. A lot of applicants will ask, like, should I do lots of volunteering during this time frame? Maybe, if you have the time, that's great, but we need to for sure make sure we have these categories figured out before you apply. So, GPA, there's 3 different numbers that you should know, like the back of your hand, when you're getting ready to apply, so that way you can compare and contrast where you're at with other programs, okay? You have your cumulative, your prerequisite, and your last 60 credit hour GPA, okay? These are things that you're definitely going to want to know. The reason why prerequisite and last 60 credit hour GPAs are starred is because these are the ones that you can have the biggest impact on, okay? So I don't really have applicants worry about retaking classes that don't directly impact their prerequisite GPA, and obviously any new grades that you get are going to either improve or decrease your last 60 credit hours. So just do really well in school, and you will improve both your prerequisite GPA and your last 60 credit hours. Okay, GRE. If you took the GRE today, how would you do? Okay, this is my number one recommendation for applicants. A lot of applicants, they have a hard time knowing how to study or structure their study. So I recommend that you just take a free practice test. There's a lot of them online, and with the coaching package that I provide for you guys, there is a resource in there with my recommended free GRE prep resources, or they're very inexpensive, right? So you can find a bunch of free practice tests that have been retired, they've been utilized, and by using these tests, you can figure out how much time do I actually need to study, right? So you're going to want to try to shoot for a 153 plus for the verbal and quantitative, and then a score of 4 plus for analytical writing in order to have a strong or solid score that makes you more competitive as an applicant. Of course, do the best that you can. And, if you score lower than that, that doesn't mean that you can't apply, but I got to give you some benchmark to shoot for. So that way you can try to at least gauge, okay, well, how effective is my studying? How effective is my scoring? If I take this practice test cold, I gotta know what my benchmark is to compare my scores. Observation hours. Okay, do you know how many observation hours you currently have? And what settings are they in? Okay, you should know that, like the back of your hand. And do you have a goal for the number of observation hours? Do you personally have a goal? And if so, when are you going to achieve it? I have a rule. It's called the 3-5-4-6 rule. Trying to get applicants to shoot for at least 300 to 500 hours in 4 to 6 different settings. Okay. Diversity of hours is arguably more important than quantity of hours. So make sure you're getting your outpatient, your inpatient, trying to get skilled nursing, neuro, pediatrics, home health, more of a wellness type of a physical therapy setting, workers' comp, aquatic therapy, hippotherapy. There's all kinds of different things that you can try to observe in. And if your area is still currently restricted with observation hours due to COVID-19, contact your programs of interest and see how they are handling this situation with observation hours, because there are many programs that are waiving observation hours. Other programs have different ways that they want you to try to research the profession. Okay, references or letters of recommendation. PTCAS allows you to request up to 5 references. The reference breakdown, this is the reference breakdown that I recommend. You are going to want 2 from licensed PTs, 1 from a science or a prereq course professor, 1 from someone who's completely outside of physical therapy, and 1 from the next best individual that you can think of. Okay, in general, I would make a list of individuals and for each of these categories. So I'd make a list for PTs, for professors, for people outside of PT, and then whoever's left. And I would rank them from like 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, and then start asking people, right? You also want to make sure that you're asking your references if they would be willing to write you a strong letter of recommendation. Not just a letter of recommendation, but can they legitimately give you a strong recommendation? Okay? The earlier you ask, the better. But I would recommend that you ask each of your references no later than by March or April, just to confirm and to make sure that you've got enough time and to build up a relationship with these people. Sometimes if they ask you, like if you ask them, will you write me a strong letter? Or ask them, what do I need to do to get a strong letter from you? That is what's going to determine if you need to do some more legwork to get a good letter from them. And it's always better to be prepared than to be caught off guard right before when you're trying to submit and you're just waiting on that last letter of recommendation, and you find out, well, you didn't meet my criteria for writing a strong letter. I'm sorry, you're out of luck. Okay, here's a bonus. PTCAS. You can enter stuff early into PTCAS. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of the stuff that you can. All the sections found under the personal information window. If you haven't already, go ahead and log in, create a PTCAS account, and you can start entering all of that information under the personal information window. You can also enter all sections found under the academic history window and the following sections under the supporting information window: experiences, achievements, licenses, and certifications. You should set a goal for your application completion. And in general, my recommendation is to complete your application before Labor Day. Every applicant is going to have a different timeline. That's totally fine. I just recommend getting it done early, so that way it, applying earlier does make you look better as an applicant. But if you need to take more time to really make sure you write good essays, or let's say you don't want to submit your application until you retake a class in the fall and a program's deadline isn't until January or February of the next year, then I totally understand, right? But this is just a general rule of thumb. If you get your application in by Labor Day, if you're starting up school the following semester in the fall, you don't have to worry about your application and it can just be off your back. But remember, every applicant's different. Everyone has their own timeline. You don't need to compare yourself. That's just a general recommendation. It's kind of a goal that I threw out there so applicants can kind of track themselves and know where they're at. Guys, I'm telling you, if this seems overwhelming or you feel like, holy crap, this is so much stuff, you need a plan. Something that's personalized, that's going to help you have direction, to help you feel encouraged, give you confidence, and also give you a sense of control, and arguably most important, accountability. Someone who's going to follow up with you and ask, hey, how are you doing with X, Y, and Z aspects of your application? It's tremendously helpful. So, guys, if you come to the live webinar, you are going to want to sign up right now to get this free offer, okay? To sign up to get this free webinar and to learn about our exclusive coaching offer that we have this application cycle. You aren't going to want to miss it. Go ahead and sign up. I'll see you guys there Saturday, March 5th, 10 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. If you can't make it to the live event, there will be a recording that will be sent out. We'll see you there. Thanks, guys. Take care.